Hi, I'm Billy, and I just thought I'd share a reflection with you. My home group have been reading the book of Daniel recently, and we just sort of go through it bit by bit, and we just all talk after we go through a section and just sort of share any insights, anything we've read, seen that really stood out to us. And someone in our group just mentioned that one of the things they found hard or found shocking was the fact that it mentions God delivering the Israelites to the Babylonians, that he let this whole situation happen, and that included his temple sort of being looted and items being taken away, and they found that one of the most difficult things. And yeah, I suppose over the last few weeks I've really just sort of had that in my mind and been thinking about it quite a lot. And sort of the more I thought about it and the more I looked at it, the more it reminded me of our current situation. Not obviously Israelites and Babylonians, but as Christians being taken out of our churches, we have sort of been taken away from our comfort zone, taken away from that place that a lot of us sort of find comforting, that we meet other people, and we've been thrust into a different world, a world of the internet, of Zoom and YouTube and Facebook. So our Babylon technically has just become the internet. I don't know of any churches up until that point that were sort of regularly meeting purely online or any of those situations. There were some, obviously, a lot of churches really that did have an online presence, that were streaming services or at least putting on content about their services online. So it wasn't completely unheard of, but to think of every church in the country now having to rely on this service was quite difficult. But I suppose in a way we try to think about these things, how we find God in these situations. Did he put us in these situations? And as much as none of us want to sit there and think of it in that light sometimes, that God allowing this to happen when we know of so much suffering that has come from it all, but at the same time it's part of the world that we do live in, and I'm someone who believes that no matter what situation happens, no matter how difficult or awkward we find ourselves, that God can make good come from it. And I suppose that's, as a Christian, what most of us want to see in this situation. None of us want to just believe that after coronavirus everything will just return to normal, nothing will change, other than knowing that there's people in their lives that have lost the people they love. It would, in a way, probably make a lot of people feel very dark. So, maybe I am just trying to find the best of a situation, but I do believe that something has massively changed from this. So with us now operating through Facebook, through YouTube, obviously they're one of the most highest attended sort of online presences that there actually is. I think YouTube has over 30 million viewers every day, and Facebook over 1 billion. So the fact that our churches, other Christians, that people who probably were never tempted in any way to approach these websites, to approach these sort of organisations to do things, have been forced to. But it also means that there's been a flood of Christian content that is now hitting the internet, that people who would have probably never even looked for it will now stumble across it. And as Christians, those are the things that we hope for. I was someone who walked into a church purely for a selfish reason and wasn't expecting to find God. I was just trying to make someone else happy. But it changed my life because I met a presence, found a presence there that I didn't expect, and it changed my life. And that's all we need as a Christian. When we meet people, we just need to give them a single moment, just that single bit of time where God can meet them and their needs at that time and can just completely change their lives. And I feel with the internet there's been this big fear maybe because it's so massive, it's so gigantic, and even as Christians, having God on our side, we can find it a very daunting and very hard place that we can actually deliver a message that people are going to listen to, that people who necessarily aren't looking for that message are going to stop and listen to it. So as the book of Daniel carries on, obviously it shows what an amazing witness he was, that he sticks to the things that his people followed. He tried everything to stand by the things that he'd learned and to stand by God. And each step of the way he continued to glorify him and make his presence known in a place that wasn't expecting it. So I'm saying now, I suppose, as things are beginning to change, that churches are looking to redo their services, to open up their doors again, that we can't come away from this situation and think that, just be thankful that we've made it through, and that we can try and find how we can just return to normal, to getting back into our church doors and just being with those people again. It's like we've actually made a difference in our own lives, and from the meetings I've had with different people, there's random people around the world that are watching these services that churches are putting on, that people are connecting with, that people who maybe wouldn't even generally attend church now don't have that fear, and are slowly developing that sort of relationship, that connection with God once again, because they can see it. So we need to remember that in this time we need to continue on doing the things that we've learned from this situation. We need to continue as churches to have an online presence, to continue to deliver those things, because there's so many people who use the internet and use programs like Facebook and YouTube to hide away. And if we can just have things out there that they can listen to, that they can see, then even, like I said, just for a moment, that God's glory can shine through something, can shine through a single word that a vicar or pastor shares, or a single moment that a testimony put online will just change someone's heart. They'll realise that there are other people that have been through those same situations that they've had to experience. And yeah, it just might give them that moment where they can find the creator that we're all generally searching for. So yeah, it's turned from a reflection, I think, more into a bit of a plea. But yeah, if you're listening and you have got something from these online services, please just continue to push people to continue to do it, because it's just completely worth it. Thank you.